Hello, hi, hello. My name is Pickles and Dough, and welcome to the video. Due to incredibly popular demand, today I wanted to redesign and rant about my BL human/vampire story characters. These characters have gone through multiple changes throughout the years. They actually started out as a self-indulgent poem I wrote when I was a freshman in high school about a serial killer and a cannibal. Oh my god, look how far we've come. Obviously, after a while, I shifted towards more traditional, less finger-bitingly cringy story with concepts I was more familiar with, like the church and vampires, although I still kept the serial killer concept and the whole, eating people vibes. This version of the characters have had a few evolutions, with them being a lot younger, and then eventually being definitely not inspired by Sinner's cowboys, until I settled into a modern Victorian type setting for them. I'm sort of having my cake and eating it too, because I want to have both modern and Victorian outfits for them, and a modern Victorian world for them to live in. So in this world, vampires and humans live in the present day and coexist relatively peacefully. They share a government and have laws in place to protect both humans and vampires from violence from either species. Vampires in this world do not typically have an insatiable thirst for blood, but due to their culture, they do enjoy blood dishes. Actually, in this story, the uncontrollable desire to drink blood is actually a disease that a vampire can be born with, or it can be gained in old age. This disease, that I don't have a name for, is considered untreatable, and vampires who will have it are killed due to the dangers it poses for both groups. This is where our vampire Luca comes in. Luca is a vampire who was born with this disease I don't have a name for. He was kept isolated from greater vampire society due to his condition because his parents didn't want him to be killed by the government. Kind of selfish if you ask me. I imagine Luca's mother is on this government council, which is why Luca's family had the money and resources to end up hiding him from them and to avoid getting him killed. Because of his condition, Luca grew up as a very repressed boy. He knew he wasn't allowed to have a certain amount of blood, but due to his parents low-key coddling him, he isn't sure why he can't drink until he's full. It isn't until he has a little murder accident that he realizes he likes the blood a little bit more than his peers. I want to flesh out the lore of this world more and show you guys Luca's family members and some side characters I've been cooking up. So if you want another video about that, please let me know. Luca is a very cheerful man who enjoys sweet treats and has the ultimate goal in life to do whatever he wants whenever he wants, which is to drink blood. Because of him being born into a wealthier upper-class family and his struggles with empathy, Luca initially has the problem of looking down on humans and viewing them as purely fruit. He is selfish. But look at that little face. It's okay. He can do whatever he wants. While Luca has 2 living parents and a sister who all love him, he feels like he doesn't belong with the other vampires since they don't share his all-consuming desire for blood. However, his viewpoint around humans is challenged when he makes his eventual boyfriend. Luca and the other vampires' outfits are inspired by upper-class Victorian Gothic fashion. I wanted them to stand out amongst the human characters who will all have more modern clothing. I'm trying to learn how to utilize halftones in my art, so I also spent an embarrassingly long time fiddling with that. I went back and forth between giving him shorts or long pants. I think the shorts will make a good contrast between the next character's final design, since I'm pretty dead set on giving him black bottoms. I haven't decided whether or not I want Luca's bat wings to be purely aesthetic for doodling's sake or an actual part of his character. I don't imagine his species can turn into bats in this universe because I want them to be more similar to humans than completely otherworldly. I don't know. His hair is ironically the hardest part about him to draw sometimes. I don't usually struggle with afros or fades, but this is very specific size and shape. And whenever I draw it slightly off, it's glaringly noticeable to me. And I hate that sometimes. I'm pretty happy with Luca's final design. I'm not sure how I feel about the garter belts, but they're here to stay for now. Also, yes, I know that for the grayscale, you're supposed to color it and then turn it into grayscale, but I didn't care enough to learn that right now. Anyway, on to the next character. Isaiah is the human half of the pair and a jaded priest. His priest occupation is the freshest iteration of this character and one that I think blends well with the vampire world that I shoved them into. Isaiah is the serious, stoic, and often cruel one of the two. He is the priest but he wants to be the archbishop and oversee other churches. He wants to be an archbishop specifically because his father was a bishop, and he wants to be a level above him because he has
daddy issues.
His father never believed or recognized any of Isaiah's accomplishments, and he died before he ever got to prove himself to him, or in this case, prove he was better than him. And after his death, Isaiah still plans to achieve this by any means necessary, which is why he resorts to killing those he feels are in his way, hence earning him his serial killer reputation. Isaiah wants power, and getting rid of competition is a lot easier when you have a vampire boyfriend who does whatever you want. Because the story is self-indulgent and always has been self-indulgent, I did have to make both of them kind of a bad person for my sake. I guess being a serial killer isn't being a sort of bad person, but it's okay. I'm really happy with Isaiah's final design. The red is such a good accent to the black. And not to toot my own horn, but toot! I absolutely fucking nailed it with his face. So, a little pat on my back for myself there. Story time! The two of them met in the back alley behind Isaiah's church, when Luca was snacking on an unsuspecting human. Once he saw Isaiah, he thought he'd be another easy target. He lunges at Isaiah and actually manages to bite him in the arm. But unfortunately for him, in this universe, vampires are weak to the cross! No, that's a joke. His cross is just made of silver, which vampires are weak to in this story. After being burned, Luca is promptly knocked out. Seeing the opportunity, Isaiah ties him up and drags him into the church. Luca and Isaiah's relationship definitely starts more one-sided, with Luca being absolutely infatuated with Isaiah. After he bit his arm and got a taste of his blood, he became obsessed. His love definitely starts off as more like the piece of cake you want, says you can't eat it until you kill some people for it, but then you and that cake have like really homoerotic tension the entire time too. Guys, I'm really good at analogies. Luca doesn't mind that the priest is mean to him sometimes, all of the time. I imagine he sees Isaiah sort of how Rose Quartz saw Greg at the beginning of their relationship in Steven Universe. He thinks his goals are cute and amusing because he doesn't respect humans. This turns into genuine love over time, and Luca definitely falls first. Isaiah starts off by tolerating Luca. He isn't put off by his bloodlust or general disregard for human life. That would make him a hypocrite. He uses his blood as a means to get Luca to do what he wants and lets him hide in the church when they're not out hunting. Isaiah thinks vampires are bloodthirsty aristocrats, so it definitely doesn't hurt to have one under your thumb. But Isaiah is also a very lonely person. Being serious and shut off most of his life left him with very few interpersonal relationships, and having both his parents die at different times in his life made him parentless. So he definitely doesn't hate having a new clingy roommate who won't leave him alone. Because they are committing serial crimes together, they are actively hiding from the law and keeping their partnership/relationship a secret. I do have an idea for a detective character. I want to give her like a big, heavy weapon that's definitely not a reference to anyone or anything. If, and let's be honest, when I make a side character video, she'll more than likely be in it. And it'll include a bunch of other guys. I use these figure 13 guys I bought for reference for the pose because I have a hard time drawing characters interacting, but I didn't even actually use the angle that I took for the photo, so it kind of ended up being like a little bit pointless, which is like fine, I guess. I do want to start making short comics of these characters to familiarize myself with what format I want to use, because I do intend to turning it into an actual shortish series and to practice drawing faster because this video took like 5 years to make. I really like my final illustration. If you don't look too closely, everything is colored correctly and in the right place. It took me forever to do Luca's mouth because I just couldn't get the expression right, and rendering is really hard when you hate all the brushes. Once again, Isaiah steals the show, my goat. I keep forgetting that the point of reference sheets is that you go back to look at them for reference. So if there are a few inaccuracies, no there's not. You're looking too closely. Back up. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I have a bunch of other OCs that have much more fleshed out stories that are also Yuri. So subscribe if you want to see Yuri. 1, 2, 3, we want Yuri. Hopefully my next video won't take a month to come out, but we'll see. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.